Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started with our daily quiz and look at question number 1. Which of the following is or are not a member of the Group of 7 or G7 countries? Russia was part of G7. It joined G7 in the year 1998 when G7 became G8, Group of 8. But then Russia was ejected from the group in the year 2014 because Russia had annexed Crimea. So Russia is not a member of G7. Canada is, Japan is, India and Australia also, they are not the members of G7. So what is the correct answer? 145C is the right answer. What is the context? The Indian External Affairs Minister, Mr. S. Jaishankar, will be visiting London to participate in the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting because India has been invited as a guest country. Who all are the members of the G7? Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, United Kingdom, and the United States. Let's look at question number 2. Karen and Kachin, recently seen in the news, is related to Myanmar. Karen and Kachin, these are two of the bigger minority groups of Myanmar. And for many decades, they have been fighting and they have been seeking greater autonomy. Because of the military coup in Myanmar, the rebels are now calling for a united front against the military junta. So Karen and Kachin, they're recently seen in the news and they're related to the conflict in Myanmar. Now let's look at question number 3. Which of the following is responsible for the administration of the Government of India Transaction of Business Rules 1961 and the Government of India Allocation of Business Rules 1961? What is the context? This is today's PIB news. Cabinet Secretary reviews state of COVID-19 preparedness in Delhi. These rules are administered by the Cabinet Secretariat. These rules, they ensure and facilitate smooth transaction of business in departments and ministries of the government. For example, Cabinet Secretariat, it ensures that President, Vice President, ministers, they are kept informed of the major activities of all the departments and ministries. How does Cabinet Secretariat ensure that President, Vice President, and ministers are informed? Through monthly summary. A monthly summary of all the activities is prepared by the Cabinet Secretariat. It is through this monthly summary that President, Vice President, and the ministers, they are kept informed of the major activities of departments and ministries of the government. Let's look at question number 4 because today's newspaper is dominated by the election related news. Which of the following statements regarding voter verifiable paper audit trail VVPAT is or are correct? Number 1, it is an independent verification printer machine and it is attached to electronic voting machines. VVPATs can be accessed by voters to point out any malfunction. In 2013, the Supreme Court had asked the Election Commission to introduce these paper trails in EVMs. Statement 1 is correct. Statement 3 is correct because this case was Subramaniam Swamy versus Election Commission of India 2013. So 1 and 3 is the right answer. VVPAT machines can be accessed only by the polling staff, cannot be accessed by the voters. Let's look at previous year's question paper, Prelims 2013. Which of the following diseases can be transmitted from one person to another through tattooing? Chikungunya, no. Hepatitis B, yes. HIV, AIDS, yes. So 2 and 3, B is the right answer. Now let's look at fact of the day, Legislative Assembly versus Legislative Council. Legislative Assembly is the lower house of state legislature. Legislative Council is the upper house of the state legislature. But not all states in India have legislative councils. We have legislative councils in Andhra Pradesh, in Telangana, in Maharashtra, in Bihar, in Uttar Pradesh, and in Karnataka. So in total, we have 6 states in India where we have legislative councils. Legislative Assembly, what is the strength of the Legislative Assembly of a state? This strength, this composition is not fixed, but there is a range. Minimum we can have 60 MLAs in a legislative assembly, and maximum we can go up to is 500. But yes, there are some states which have lesser number of MLAs. For example, states such as Goa, states such as Sikkim, they have less than 60 MLAs in their legislative assemblies. But we have a range: 60 minimum, 500 is maximum. And for legislative council also we have a range. Minimum we can have 40 MLCs, 40 members of the legislative council, and maximum we can go up to is one third of the strength of the legislative assembly. And this number is mentioned where? In the Representation of the People Act 1950. So Representation of the People Act 1950 talks about that there will be 294 MLAs in West Bengal Legislative Assembly. That is it from our daily quiz. Thank you for being with us. Have a great day.